okay, let's try this again. Oh, geez. I think I'll have a drink of wine. Okay. And I'm hoping that the first part of the Hangout, the recording downloaded, I'm just going to hope for the best. Oh, right on. Oh, I'm glad to see everyone's coming back here. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's talking about creating your own circumstances, and how when you can acknowledge, oh, you created all the crap, damn it. Ah! Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well then, that's okay. What else can I create? I can create myself out of it. But it's often in those moments where we're trying to prove something. We're trying to prove we're right, or trying to prove someone else is wrong for what they are doing, that will keep that energy alive, that'll keep it creating. And that's why we can't give up our victimhood. Dina, what was your question?
Okay. Yeah, I started talking and then we lost you.
Yeah.
My question, okay, if someone's kind of bugging you or harassing you or something, and you don't want to have that victim mentality, what are you supposed to think of them? Like, how are you supposed to see that person? You see yourself as creating your own reality, but how should you see that person?
Yeah, as not being wrong. So, can you give me?
You have to see them, right?
You have to see what? You
like, well, you don't want to see them as being right?
No, you don't have to see them as they're not, but you don't have to judge what they're being. So say they're being just an asshole, like just a jerk. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then you could go, wow, you're really being a jerk, without a judgment of being. Yeah, it's like, wow, you're really being a jerk, without having a judgment that being a jerk is wrong. If that makes sense. So the moment the judgment about what they're being is wrong off the table, then they can just be the jerk. And when it's acknowledged, oftentimes they'll just stop being a jerk because you've acknowledged them. It's like in a bully situation, many times you might have experienced this, or you might have heard of it, where somebody finally stands up for themselves and say, hey, you're being a complete ass, you know? Yeah. And it's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Stop it. Or whatever it is. If they do it without judgment, if they do it just from a place of, wow, look what you're being, they can often change that bully situation. So you can look at them and think how wrong they are to be doing or saying or behaving in the way that they're choosing to behave. But what does that do to you? Does that make you happy? Does it make you happy to do that? No, right?
No, doesn't make you happy.
Doesn't make you happy. So that strategy is not working. If you continue to judge them and say you're wrong and awful, does it make it easy? Does it make life easy? Not really.
No.
What it does make you is right. And because you're right. you shouldn't act like that. I'm right. And somehow in this society, we have made being right the highest, most glorified position that ever was. And we have this belief that if we are right, then somehow we will be happy. And that never works. The two never go together. You're either right or you're happy, but usually not at the same time. Because the moment that you're right in terms of being righteous, you are not happy because you're being righteous. And when you're being righteous, you are being very judgmental that you are superior, that you have to look down on those that you are better than. And when you have to look down on people, that will never make you happy. It will make you righteous. Yeah. Also, to not give any significance to the crap that people do. Like, I mean, people are jerks all over the place. And, you know, we make it really significant. We make it really important. And it's not really all that important. And the less that we make that mean anything other than you're being a jerk, the less it affects our lives. Now, also, remember what I started talking about in the beginning of this, is that with judgment, we put up a barrier, right? We immediately put up a barrier. And the defense, the protection, right? Because I don't want to be touched by that jerk, you know, that kind of thing. Now, if you were to lower your barrier and to receive everything that that jerk is putting out, receive it without agreeing with it and without resisting it, it then kind of becomes comical. So could you, I know this would be hard for you because you like being a nice person, but could you pretend I'm the jerk?
Oh, geez. Okay.
Okay. Now, tell me that I'm a jerk.
Uh-huh.
It's okay, I can take it.
You want me to say that?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
You won't burst into flames.
You're a jerk.
I promise. Okay, what was that?
I said you're a jerk.
Oh, yeah, I am a jerk. I am the jerkiest person that there is. Oh, it cracks me up how much of a jerk I am. Now, you see, I totally received it, but I didn't put any meaning to it. I didn't put any meaning to it at all. It's like, yeah, I'm a jerk. So it's like it totally diffuses everything, because when people are throwing those things, they're trying to get a reaction, right? They're trying to get their way, they're trying to get a reaction. And when no reaction happens, it fizzles. And when it's totally received, it fizzles. It has nowhere to go. And of course, laughter is always the healing energy on the planet. And so even if you were to say, if someone, like, you know, say your best friend or something, or even a coworker, or it doesn't matter what, say they're being really grumpy and nasty, and you know, they're just grumpy and nasty and bitchy.
Yeah.
And if you were to say, without any judgment on it, but just call it as what it is, it's like, wow, you're being a grumpy, nasty bitch today, they'll probably laugh because it's true. That's what they're being. But there's no judgment there. So there's nothing to have to fight or defend against. But if you put judgment on it, saying, you're being a right nasty, grumpy bitch, they're going to go, oh yeah? You want to see how nasty and grumpy and bitchy I can get? And they'll fight. right? Because you put the judgment in it. Because the wall is there and now it has to be thought. So it's about removing, again, those walls and those barriers and receiving. Now, sometimes it's tough, and you got to be kind to yourself. You got to understand we have thousands of years of conditioning to defend ourselves with barriers up. So when someone attacks you and you go into defense and then afterwards you go, oh, I put up a barrier and I created that, just go into awareness of it. Don't go into judgment of you. Be kind to you. Because we do that. We naturally defend ourselves because we have been so conditioned to do it for so many years. But the more you can become aware, oh yeah, I did that again. I went into defense and I could feel myself trying to fight it out. You'll eventually stop it because you're becoming aware of your own creation, becoming aware of your own programming and conditioning. Yeah. So it's not about getting it right.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, it's not about getting it right. Where it's about, wow, what's actually being created here? And if it's not what I want, how can I create it differently? But what people do is they go in, how can I be right? And how do I make the wrong go away? So people like to function from judgment, but as long as you're in the right and wrong of things, you're never ever going to be happy. You're always going to be blocked off from receiving. You're always going to have the barrier up, which is the energy that says, come on, come fight this. And so it will always create the thing you don't want. A barrier will always create the thing you don't want. The very thing that you are trying to keep out will have to come to that barrier so you can, because that's its job, is to keep that thing out. So that thing has to show up so it can do its job. Okay? Yeah. So, wow, any other questions? Cool. So, yeah, protection strategies. They don't protect you. They screw you over, but it's your own screw over because you're the one putting up the wall. But don't judge it. Don't go into judgment of yourself, which will just put up another wall of how you've put up a wall, because now you're just making the walls thicker, right? Instead, go, wow, okay, how can I relax and stop judging myself for the crap I've created? How can I stop judging others for the crap they've created? And how can I dissolve those barriers so I can receive more and make my life easier and less right or wrong, depending on where you're looking from. Because the thing about being right, and it's interesting that this judgment piece is so applicable to being victimized, is because the thing about being right is you have to prove you're right. So if you're right that so-and-so is mean and hits, then you're going to get that meanness and hits in your experience. You're going to be witness to it so you can continue to be really right. If you're right that, animals are treated harshly, you are actually contributing to the very thing that you want to abolish, because then you have to be witness to animals being treated harshly so you can be right about how that's going on. And this really is your own creation, because it's coming from the energy that you are being, which is creating the barriers, which is attracting the energy of which you don't want. But it all comes from your own creation. Yeah, wow, cool. In the book, I also talk a lot about, and in this chapter, being aware. Well, let's see, kind of covered it pretty well. But at the end of the chapter, I talk about being aware of what you are feeling, being really aware of what's going on in your body, being really aware of where you have a barrier up, where you're not letting anything in or you're fighting something off. If you can have the courage, and trust me, you'll be fine, I promise, to instead try and fight whatever it is you're trying to fight off, and just say, hey, let's talk. Why are you here? And get the awareness of why it's there. What message do you have for me? Talk, personify any energy and talk to it like a conversation, and you'll be able to get the information. It's amazing the information you will be able to get, actually. But no one thinks to talk to energies or to their body in that way. And don't make it an enemy. You know, just make it a source of information. And understand that the consciousness, and like I said, whether you view consciousness as universal energy or a God force or angels or Jesus or you know, Krishna or Allah, or, you know, it doesn't really matter. But whatever that beautiful, unconditional, non-judgmental energy that always has your back is for you, if you bring that with you, it's always there, but you have to pull down your barriers so you can have access to it. If you can bring that with you, you will always have the ability to change anything, and nothing will ever harm you. Now, the interesting thing about most victims is that they believe truly that they have been harmed, that they have been traumatized, that they somehow are beyond repair. Now, the truth is, you are invincible, you are immortal, you are eternal, because if you could actually be taken out of existence, you wouldn't be here right now. It would have happened. Do you get that? I mean, think about, what do you know about how many times somebody or something or even yourself have tried to take you out of existence? Might have ended the life you were living in the body you were living it in, but yeah, here you are. Here you are. You might have past life memory of being drawn and quartered or burned at the stake or having been beheaded or some other horror that has occurred to you. And yet, here you are, you know? So when you understand that you are actually immortal and that nothing can happen to your existence, all of that fear of and all of the lies that you bought into, that you are harmed, that you are injured, that you are incomplete, have to go away. The moment that you realize that truth. And so, would you be willing to acknowledge the eternal life that you actually are and have? And would you, there we go, whew, can feel that expanding. And would you be willing to just get a sense of how long your existence in time has been present? And it's like, wow, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And now try and go to the moment where your existence ceases to exist and you can't find it because it's not there, because it's not possible. And if you find a spot, you are lying to yourself. It will be so heavy and so contractive that you are buying into the lie. Okay? Someone's laughing. That's great. Yeah. So Sandy, did you find an end point? Did you hear me? I thought that was Sandy laughing. So did anyone find an end point?
What?
What's that, Dina?
What's that? You keep cutting out on our end.
Oh,
Sandy's laughing.
I know, but I was asking, did she find an end point to her existence?
No,
No, she didn't.
No, because it's not there. And trust me, you're aware enough to know all futures and all pasts. And so if it was there, you'd know. So it's never happening. So stop trying to take yourself out, because it's never happening. Ever. You're here.
Yeah.
Get used to it. So you might as well be here. Yeah. Oh my goodness. How much fun is this? So why don't we end with just a little meditation of some sort? If there's no other questions. And okay. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Maybe I'll ask those crazy beings of the light that I talk about in the book to show up. Now, it's funny, I don't ever talk about them anymore as the beings of the light, because they are so entrenched in who I am. Their consciousness is my consciousness, that I don't see them as separate anymore. So I never talk about them separately anymore. And I would like you to understand that as well, that whatever higher guidance that you're working with, that's actually you're working with. Okay, we'll get there. Anyway. Okay. So why don't you close your eyes and take a deep breath. And just imagine your energy be fully in your body. Just imagine your energy in your body. So feel the ends of your toes and you in the ends of your fingers. And you sitting on your butt, you know, that you're really in your body. And that it's okay for you to be in it. And then allow your energy to expand outward, outward, outward from your body. So don't leave your body to expand, but your light will just naturally radiate through your body and outside of it. And just let it expand. And let it expand past the barriers of your home. And let that light expand through your city and as large as your country and larger than the earth. It's amazing. It can go on forever because it's infinite. And right out into the universe. And notice that as you expand greater and greater, you receive more and more. That there is light, it gets lighter and lighter. And now let's just call on all of the little molecules in the universe of consciousness that have been wanting to contribute to you, but unable to until this moment, to come and do so. For them to just come in and contribute whatever it is that they have to contribute to your life and living, knowing that you actually are receiving a benevolent contribution. And as you begin to receive those benevolent contributions, to instead of sort of rein them in, allow yourself to expand out even greater, where there are more molecules wishing to contribute to you that were unable to previously. And as you receive those contributions and that benevolence, expand out even greater. And we'll ask all of the molecules of consciousness that we've been wanting to contribute to you but unable to do so now. And continue expanding outwards and receiving. And now, what is it that you can receive that you did not think was possible? And just let that energy in. And what fight have you been fighting that can now go and be at peace and just dissolve? And just allow it, just give it up. And what if you did? And we'll ask all of the molecules in all of the universes, in all of the cosmos that can contribute to you giving up your fight to come and contribute to you now. Wow, that's lovely. Ooh. And since you no longer have to put all of the energy that you've been putting towards your defenses because you've given up those fights, what are you now able to create because you have the energy to do it? And again, you don't have to have a solid answer. Just receive the energy of it and choose to create it. Create that lightness, that expansiveness, whatever it is and whatever it'll show up as. Will you receive and acknowledge that you are currently creating something different for you? Beautiful. Now stay expanded, but become present back once again in your body. Stay open to receiving. What would it take for you to stay this vulnerable for as many moments as you can? Cool. So are there any last minute questions or, thoughts, anything that you want to ask about this chapter or about the book or about this topic? No, everyone's just happy and expanded.
Pretty much.
Good.
That was wonderful, Faye. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Cass.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I know it might not have been the talk that you were expecting, but if you could really contemplate these ideas of you are an incredibly powerful creator, and you're immortal. You're like this eternal being that cannot be harmed. So all of this idea that you are wounded, would you be willing to just give that up? Because you're not. Hey, Cherie says, thank you so much. It was lovely. Thank you, Cherie.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 2 days, on Thursday, we are doing another one of these, same time. And I believe it's the same link, but I'll check. You'll get an email. And yeah, we'll see you on Thursday.
Yay!
Yay! All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you later. Mwah.
Yay.